Hi everyone, Indez here. Let's talk about runes and this super mysterious and complex system that they just implemented in Diablo Immortal. Today, I'm gonna bring it to you all the things, all the knowledge that I gathered, not only from my experience for the past months, but also from going to research, like videos, Reddit posts, everything I scavenge, everything to put in all in one kind of guide. So, let's dive into what are runes, and these ones is very interesting because if you go here, I am a free to play, and a lot of people think that I actually am not, just because I got a full gear of gold runes. I usually use this one with essay because it's gonna give me 3 movement speed, and I'm gonna explain why. But if I go here, I have and now I can have a full golden set also with the legendary gem. So people think and say that well, is it suspicious because they feel like you cannot farm any runes because most likely they are not getting as many gold runes or orange runes as they wish, and that's completely fair. But I come here to tell you how can you actually gather more runes, how can you farm them more, and also I'm gonna debunk a few things that people are also saying that I feel like they are not true. So these runes overall, I feel like this system, it is actually a plus to the game because it just made the farm inside the game way more exciting. Before you used to go and farm around like tower, elder rifts, or like dungeons, and the only thing you used to go, for example, in dungeons was to farm your green set. But now there is this added element that makes it exciting, that you may be gonna get one of these runes, right? Like you have gray runes, blue runes, and then whenever you have the gold runes, and especially the orange runes, is gonna be mind-blowing to you. It is like a dopamine hit that you just feel like you won the lottery, and I really feel like in that sense, that's the good kind of dopamine that you want in this game, because like you put effort and then you see that you get rewarded from your farm. I think that's a much healthier way for games to actually capitalize when it comes to dopamine, that instead of like being gambling, like you spend money and then you roll and then you get the 5-star. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to beat Diablo Immortal in subs. It will mean the world to me. Enjoy the video. But if we go here into the action house, I'm gonna tell you how most of the times I make my plat. A lot of people see that I have 76k plat and they think, oh, it must not be free to play. No, I just don't spend plat in dumb shit. So if you see here on my purchase, I barely purchase anything. I think like this is like the salvage and identifying pets for the traits. Then I got my savior pet, and then I bought like these 3 out of 5 bloodsock traits, and the rest I don't buy almost anything except like the crest vendor. So I sell all my Unbound legendary gems, I sell all my pets that I can, and then I also sell Unbound runes. Any Unbound rune that I can get my hands on, I try to sell it. Of course, I'm not gonna waste my time in gray runes, but I still try to sell these ones because, you know, like sometimes like 900 plat is still 900 plat. So please have in mind that you only want to equip on yourself the bound runes, and when those bound runes they actually drop, it is after you gather the 30 Unbound weekly cap runes that exist on this game. You're gonna see here I got a few Unbound because it has the action house symbol, and then we have another ones that they are bound. So the main reason why I'm telling you to not equip Unbound runes is because you never know if in the future you might get another tier. Like I already got 2 tiered runes. The gold is like this golden rune head and the shoulders, and I got 2 more here in my bags that I can't do anything. And you know what, I already even combined them to actually start upgrading. I'm gonna show you how it works. So please understand that if you drop, like for example, an orange rune like this one last, and then it's Unbound, and instead of selling and getting the plat, you will keep it, then in the future, if the same rune drops, then you pretty much almost can't do anything because they will be like extremely rare. So let's talk about what are the best runes for yourself. I want to here just highlight a few of them. There are many runes, but overall, as a thumbs up rule, better color, better rune. Okay, so blues are better than gray, the gold is better than blue, and of course the orange are better than the gold ones, right? It makes sense. However, there are actually a few exceptions. So a first exception is this one, him, with a 2% attack speed on your head, on your shoulders. Please don't sleep on this one, because it will actually be better than equipping this ray one, because it's gonna increase your life and it's gonna be damage taken while moving. And these stats are not like that interesting unless like you're doing PvP, but overall I will always take the 2% attack speed, the same way as you have here. I have two golden runes called Fa on my main hand that most of the times I actually, because I'm not fully capped on the 20%, I just enjoy to go and I trade for Esse, because it's gonna increase my movement speed by 3%. And like this, you know, it doesn't look as pretty, as cool looking, because instead of being all gold, like you're using, oh my god, like it's using like this blue rune, you know. But it is actually better for me because it increases 1% more of my movement speed. It doesn't seem like it is a lot, but whenever you add with the increased size on top, and this 1% will actually be equivalent to maybe like 2, 3, or 4%. So whenever you're doing open world and all these activities, you just want to go fast, right? Another one that I really like and everyone likes, right, is the tier. Increases attack speed and beneficial effect. This is freaking insane. If you get 2 of them, it's gonna be 9% of increased beneficial effect. God damn, that still is good. Then we have here Seer. This one for me, it is actually the best rune for open world ever, because you equip this one, it's like having a Ignis Scorn, the legendary gem that explodes, but on your gear. Like this one, it is incredible. If you don't have it, I will highly recommend you to go and buy on the action house, because it will just like speed up your farm like so much. And when it comes to the orange, I could go and do a deep dive on the orange, but it's just like they are super rare to actually go and get it. And unless you're a whale that you can come, for example, to the action house and buy everything, I will not really put a lot of stack in it. I will just try to, like, as the bare minimum goal that you actually should try to aim is like first have full blues, then try to have full golden ones, and after you get the full golden ones as a free-to-play low spender, you're probably gonna be fine. The rest, it is gonna be extremely hard, or unless you are extremely lucky. But still, I want to highlight like these 2 legendary runes because they are extremely good for PvP. Look at this, damage taken from players 2%, and you can have 2 of them, which is gonna make 4%. And then here on the main hand, damage to players is gonna be increased by 4% because you can also have 2 of them. So why I'm putting emphasis on these ones, especially if you're a PvP player, because these damage to players, damage taken by players substats, it is not nerfed in PvP. That's why I really like them that much, and that's why also as a free-to-play player, I can have a lot of damage reduced and also have the high damage input even with 900 reso. And the rest, of course, they are pretty broken, man, like crit hit damage. Then we have like these set items that are gonna make you more powerful. There's a lot to it. There's also cooldown reduction, but it is a bit unrealistic, so I'm not even gonna dive into it. And then we're gonna talk about the weekly cap. What is the weekly cap? Well, if you didn't know, in this game, a lot of things have weekly caps, including, like, for example, normal gems, familiar contracts, and now we also have the runes. So, the runes, the way it works is, in the beginning of the week, after the reset on Monday, you're gonna have a weekly cap of 30 Unbound runes. So, the first 30 runes that they're gonna drop you in that week, you're gonna be able to sell. The other ones you want. So, please have this in mind to at least go and try to farm the 30 runes per week, because that's gonna be a big source of your plant. And then if you're a more hardcore gamer, you can just like keep farming to then later on get your set. There are some people, they are saying that maybe now that these runes, the orange runes, are getting so powerful that maybe you can actually start to equip them, but I don't know about it. I still think that taking the plat, it is still a better choice than equipping it, because the substats are actually nice. So for example, this one gives me a shield, but do I really need the shield, or should I just have taken like the 50,000 plant, right? So I think like in that sense, the math is it is obvious for me. Also, like this 8% stats increase, it is not a lot. So for example, look at this. I got a total of 12.5 thousand life, and the rune is giving me like 600. Well, 600 in the total of almost 300,000 XP. It is not a lot. I mean, it is always a boost, of course. But the reality is that if I had a gold rune, it will give me 6%. So the boost between the gold and the orange is 2%. So it's even more meaningless. So don't take it because of these base attributes increased. Go always for the substats in the rune. So now let's go and talk about the rarities, and here is where my beautiful community, you guys were actually amazing. You helped me to bring some actual data to this video, and I'm sure that the sample is not like the biggest one, because I also not like the biggest Diablo Immortal content creator, but still the numbers are still very meaningful. So now let's talk about rarity, drop rates, and the best places. So here we have a community poll where I asked what is the highest quality rune that you ever got, and we had 400 votes, and almost 40% of the community said that already got a legendary rune. So I want to here first put a disclaimer, because if you're actually someone that goes on YouTube or on Reddit, or I will consider you probably a power user. Yes, you can be casual, but you're vested enough on the game to actually go and check guides, check content creators. So it is not like you just have your game on the phone and you're like a 100% normie that you just enter like you don't know what you're doing, and you probably don't even have your answers well, and you probably don't have your build. So with this in mind, I think that the people that actually voted on this go from someone that it is probably like casual, but still puts like 1 to maybe 2 hours into the game every day to do their weeklies, to the most extreme side of the community, which probably plays the whole game and has no life like me. So with this in mind, it is normal to see the results that I'm seeing, that 40% of the people that voted this, they already got a legendary gem, because if you put, I will say, like around like 20 hours per week, you're most likely gonna have a legendary gem by now. They've been like two months now, maybe a bit less. I'm super bad with time. So it's actually nice to see most people also got already a golden rune, and very few people only got like golden and gray rune as their best one. So these are actually good news for the players itself. But then I went deeper and I asked, okay, one thing is having one orange rune dropping, but I want to ask you, what is the majority of your runes? How do they look? Out of 8 runes that you can have equipped on your gear, how many they are orange, gold, blue, or gray? So here, for me, it makes complete sense, because I'm a pretty hardcore player, and if you saw on my gear, most of my runes are the golden. So the stats here, actually, I completely agree with them. I feel like if you have most of your gear with the orange, like this 13%, you probably are a whale or someone that spends money into the game, or you just goddamn lucky. There is no other way, because for me, until now, I think I dropped like, I will say 4 runes, orange runes, and I kept 1 because it was bound. The other 3 I sold because they were unbound. So this makes sense. Then we went even further and we asked for drop rates, because it's also another part of the research that we're trying to do. How many legendary runes have you dropped so far? So the majority now said that none. And well, this is where the part I say to you that no, most people are actually casual. So if you play less than 20 hours per week, most likely it's gonna be hard for you to get these legendary runes. So this data also makes complete sense. We have say 64% none, and then the rest with the 30% 1 to twice. I feel like this I was actually expecting to be even bigger, but if you're literally in the 1% and you got dropped like 5 orange runes, you're something, man. Like, you should go play the lottery, because that's really how it is. So now let's deep dive a bit into what are the best places to actually go and farm the legendary runes. This is the most asked question when it comes to legendary runes. So here I ask, what is the place that dropped the most gold/orange runes? Because that's literally the only ones that we are interested at this moment in time on the game. So the 50% said that they never dropped. Okay, which makes sense, because not everyone is lucky enough to get like the orange and golden runes. And if we go back to these other ones, it kind of adds up with the data so far. And also remember that it's not like we ask the same people the same 4 or 5 questions that I have here. So, you know, the data can change depending on who and how many people they actually answered. So for these ones, then we had dungeons, open world farming, and cursed towers. Then on the comment section, a lot of people said, oh, there is also dropping on Elder Rifts, and there is also dropping on even Sanctum. Yes, okay, like of course I can drop everywhere, but I didn't even think about Elder Rifts, because the only thing I do in Elder Rifts is like I enter, I do my fading embers, and after that I'm done. I never farmed inside Elder Rifts. I think that's a bit weird, but if you do, I feel like that time will be better spent just going and farming on dungeons, because you're gonna farm the elites, runes, and also the set items. So I don't know, I don't see a reason to go and keep farming Elder Rifts after you made the cap of fading embers. And even that fading embers cap, man, I just wish was way shorter, because I'm not a huge fan of the Elder Rifts, especially when you're not spending the crests for the loot, right? So my favorite place to actually farm in general are in dungeons, because again, you get the green set items, you get runes, you get legendaries. So it's an all-in-one package that you can have. It's not like the optimal for runes or legendaries, but for me, farming the wisps is always like more important than above everything. And most of my golden runes came from dungeons. I will say like 90% of the golden runes, I got them from dungeon. So having like this 21%, it kind of makes sense for me. Some people also are very lucky in the open world farming, like we have here, 9%. I got like one guy on my guild, man, is just nuts, man. Like he gets orange runes in the open world like all the time, man. Like I just don't understand. Like it's not like open world is the best place to farm. No. This guy is literally an anomaly, because I spend hours and hours and hours also farming open world. You know how many orange runes I got, or gold ones? 0. So runes are very ungrateful when it comes to these, and that's why making like claims of what is the best place to actually go and farm, it is dangerous, because it's not like really backed up by data. But then the second place that I also recommend besides dungeons are the cursed towers. Probably I will say, and many people will say, that the best place to farm runes is in a cursed tower, and I 100% agree. So almost 60% say that a cursed tower is the best place. Why? Because you just have a lot of elite mobs. The same applies for the familiar contracts. If you want to go to inside the cursed tower and you can farm a lot. I rarely do a cursed tower besides having the 3 chests weekly in each tower. But there are times that, you know, if I see that I didn't farm the 30 Unbound runes yet for the week, I go inside the tower and I just spend like 1 or 2 hours there, and I'll farm a bunch of runes. I only got 1 orange rune one time inside, the rest not even gold, man. Like maybe I'm a bit cursed, you know, when it comes to the drop rates recently, but you know, I got my gold set, I got my orange rune, I'm fine, I'm not gonna complain. Then in second place we have dungeons. This one again is my favorite. Third place we have open world, and last place we have Elder Rifts. So this actually makes a lot of sense, and I want to thank you guys and all the community and everyone that voted on these ones, because without you, without your vote, without your voice, we wouldn't have this video with a more accurate data. So thank you. And then we have here a slide that I was not sure if I was gonna put or not, but I feel like I have, because a lot of things are being said that I feel like it is not true at all, and people are taking it like face value. So let's deep dive here into the community theories that are not confirmed. Okay, so if you're watching this, understand like these points, they might or not be true, but they are definitely not confirmed. So the first one, it is, oh, you can farm these runes in these gold times or golden times between like these minutes and these, similar to contracts. Okay, so for contracts, this theory, it is actually true. But personally, from my experience and by asking other players, we all got golden and orange runes outside of these golden times. That doesn't mean that maybe you won't have an increase of the chance of dropping more runes in that time, like 2 or 3, but in general, there is not a specific time for the runes to drop. So as long as you keep farming and you get lucky, most likely the runes are gonna drop. So just chill with this. It is actually not a big deal. I feel like whenever you go like inside the tower and you clean all the white mobs, and then all of a sudden like from this time to this time you clear 100 red mobs, of course like you're gonna have more chances for it to drop than if it didn't. But I don't think it has to do with the time, and a lot of players that I spoke, they also don't. The second one, it is, if you got a familiar contract, you won't get a gold or orange rune for 1 hour. This statement, I didn't see the data. I don't know where it's backed out. I don't know if this can be confirmed or not by a developer, but maybe not. It's hard to actually register. And if any of you got more data that I'm not aware, please put it in the comments so I can read, and also all the community can read and be informed if I am saying something wrong. The third theory, it is higher chance to get runes in party. Well, this one, if you're gonna be inside the dungeon, you're gonna be in party, right? But I also know that a lot of people, they go into Elder Rifts and cursed towers by themselves, and they drop a lot of like gold and a few orange runes. So maybe, but I really don't think so, because especially if you go into the dungeons, I mean, what, like 3,000 dungeons, like, and to be honest, it doesn't seem to have like a bigger increase of drop rate compared if I go also to farm alone by myself in the cursed tower. So I will say that this one, it is maybe not true. The fourth theory we have is higher difficulty equals to higher dropping chance. I think this one, it is not true at all, like, because I've been farming in Inferno 3 for the longest time. Okay, I'm like since like level 400, I went from Inferno 2 to Inferno 3 immediately. So this doesn't seem to be the case at all for me, because whenever I see like some players, like they are still playing like in Inferno 2 and they are dropping way better runes than me. So I think like this one is completely RNG, so I will say like it's not true. Then the fifth one, it is magic find improves the quality of the rune drops. Well, if we go here to the game, it actually says something that magic find increases the chance of items dropped by monsters to be magic, rare, or legendary. So what it means items, that's something that we actually have to understand. Maybe a developer can clarify if these items are, for example, runes, because, you know, before it was just equipment that will drop, but now we also have runes. So this is probably a maybe just by reading the description of the magic find, but from experience, I will say that no. And last but not least, this one, it is actually my theory, and I put it here, and I'm a true believer that this happens, because I still remember I've been playing this rune system since the beginning. I was like grinding a lot, and I still grind a lot, maybe not as much as before, but before it was like the drop chance of like the runes was literally crazy. I think I got my achievement of like the 1000 runes like many weeks back. So with this in mind, what I'm trying to say is like I used to get almost 1 golden rune per day back then, whenever the golden rune came out, right? I used to farm a lot of dungeons, and now I still put the time and I still put the hours, but if I see 1 gold rune or orange like every 2 weeks, every 1 week, 2 weeks, it is already a blessing. So I feel like, yes, RNG, it is real, but I will 100% believe if they told me that they nerf slightly the chance of like higher quality runes to drop all over the game. So this is my 2 cents. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy the information and also everything about what are the best places, what is the best runes, what you should be looking for and whatnot. And with this, as always, we are trying to reach to the Diablo Immortal channel number of subs. We are getting closer each and single day. So if you want to be part of this community, go and put the timestamp in the comments so I know you're one of the true legends that keep carrying this channel to new heights. So for that, I'm very, very thankful for you. And so this is all I have to say. I hope you have a good day. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.